If you're investing in commercial real estate, I can guarantee you that your bank will require you to have an environmental site assessment. The purpose of this is to reduce the purchaser's liability, to prevent any huge cash outlays if the site is contaminated down the road and you need to remediate. There's 3 phases. What you're looking for in the phase 1 is that the historical records of the subject land as well as the neighboring lands, to see if there's any things such as underground storage tanks, fuel tanks, if the neighbor is a dry cleaner and there's potential leaching through the ground soil of chemicals. This is all going to be important to the purchaser. If there's any areas that are identified, it will recommend a phase 2. The phase 2 is where you actually are taking samples of those areas that were identified to determine if there actually is contamination. If there is contamination, then you have to go to the phase 3, which is remediation. All of these steps cost more and more money. Remediation can be into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Very important for a purchaser to do this because in Canada, the federal law is that the polluter pays. So if there's pollution, you want the polluter, the landowner, to pay for it. If you buy a property without doing your due diligence and getting an ESA, buyer beware. You might be responsible for remediation when you go back to refinance and you need to go all the way to phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Even on a lease situation, landlords might require that the tenant is responsible for any damages environmentally. You need to make sure as a tenant that the landlord has a baseline done so that you know what was on the site prior to your being there. I'm just touching on it. There's a lot to know about environmentals, but they are very important as a purchaser, as a tenant, as a landlord. So make sure that you look into this before you progress with any commercial real estate transaction.